All right, let's just get right into it. We need to talk about one of the wildest stories to come out of tech in, well, maybe ever. We're talking about a billion-dollar deal, the biggest app on the planet, and a decision that just came out of nowhere, leaving everyone asking the same thing.
So get this. Just yesterday, OpenAI took the #1 app in the world and just killed it. Poof, gone. This was a platform that got 1 million downloads in its first 5 days, okay? It was creating the most jaw-droppingly realistic AI videos anyone had ever seen. And then, overnight, it was just gone. This wasn't them just tweaking something. They shut down the absolute king of AI video.
So that's the big question, right? Why? Why on earth would a company at the absolute top of its game just pull the plug on its most popular, most viral product? Well, the answer? It's a crazy story. We're talking about a financial black hole, a deep fake crisis that was spinning out of control, a huge betrayal, and a massive strategic gamble that could change the future of AI forever.
All right, first things first. To really get why they shut it down, you have to understand just how huge Sora had become. I mean, its rise to the top was frankly insane. We've never seen anything like it in AI. So Sora was basically the TikTok of AI video. And that's not just a nickname, it's how OpenAI built it. It wasn't just some complicated tool for pros. Nope, it was a social network. You didn't need any special skills, no editing software, nothing. You just typed a prompt, whatever crazy idea was in your head, and bam, it would spit out this cinematic, photorealistic video. Stuff that looked like it cost millions to make.
And the growth? It was just off the charts. We're talking 1 million downloads in just 5 days, and that was invite only. The internet was absolutely flooded with these mind-blowing clips that showed, with kind of terrifying accuracy, that AI could simulate the real world. But the real moment, the thing that made everyone think OpenAI was unstoppable, that was the Disney deal.
And we're not talking about some small partnership. This was a billion-dollar deal. Suddenly, Sora users had legal access to over 200 characters from Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, you name it. The idea was genius, right? They were trying to solve the biggest problem in AI, copyright, by creating this legal playground for fans. They could create all this content, and maybe, just maybe, it could even end up on Disney+. It really felt like they'd figured it all out.
Okay, so on the outside, everything looked perfect. Viral videos, a Disney partnership. But inside OpenAI, the accountants were looking at the numbers and, well, they were probably panicking. This is where the whole story starts to unravel.
Check this out. At its peak, Sora was pumping out about 11 million videos a day. Now, each one of those cost around $1.30 to generate. So you do the math. That's $15 million. Not a month, not a week, $15 million a day. And if you look at that over a year, we're talking a burn rate of $5.4 billion for just one app. It was an absolute cash furnace. And it wasn't just money. The platform was so demanding, it was literally melting their GPUs. It was sucking up all the computing power from the other parts of the business, the parts that were actually, making money.
So, you're probably asking, okay, but how much was it making? The answer is almost nothing. About $367,000 a month. So that revenue? It was covering, 0.08% of the costs. That's it. Someone inside the company literally said that's not a business model, that's a bonfire. And honestly, they were right. But believe it or not, the money wasn't even the only fire they had to put out.
Yeah, if the financial disaster wasn't enough to kill Sora, the massive legal and ethical mess it created definitely was. And this is where the story gets really, really ugly. You see, the exact same thing that made Sora so amazing, that hyper-realism, was a total double-edged sword. It didn't just create cool videos. It became the world's most powerful deepfake machine. All of a sudden, the platform was flooded with super realistic but totally fake videos of public figures, fake news events about civil unrest, even fake videos of kids in war zones. The whole safe, creative playground idea, yeah, that went out the window fast.
And the problems just kept stacking up, one after another. People quickly figured out that the watermarks and safety filters were a joke, super easy to get around. Then, the Japanese government got involved, basically demanding that OpenAI stop using its anime and gaming IP for training data. Then came the lawsuit threats from huge studios like Ghibli and Square Enix. I mean, for a company trying to look good for a $1 trillion IPO, this was an absolute PR nightmare. And then, the Disney betrayal. This part is just wild. Get this. OpenAI's team was reportedly in a meeting with Disney, planning future updates for Sora on Disney+. And then, just 30 minutes later, OpenAI announced to the world that they were shutting the whole thing down. Disney had no idea. They were completely blindsided. People in the industry called it a rug pull, and yeah, it's tough to see it any other way.
So this brings us back to the main question. Why would you light your most viral product and your biggest partnership on fire at the same time? The answer is they were making a huge, calculated gamble on something they think is way, way bigger. The real future of AI.
And that future is something called agentic systems. Now, that sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. Instead of AI that just creates content for you, like a video or an image, this is AI that actually does work for you. It's a massive shift away from just making cool stuff to actually being useful.
And the heart of this new strategy is something they're calling a super app. Basically, it's one big program for your desktop that rolls everything together. ChatGPT for language, Codex for coding, and a brand new browser they built from the ground up for AI called Atlas. This is their new baby. This is the whole bet.
And Atlas, this is where it gets into sci-fi territory. It has something called agent mode. This thing can literally see what's on your screen, click around on websites for you, book your flights, fill out boring forms, basically do all your tedious digital chores without you having to do a thing. Think about that. The same massive computer power that was making viral videos is now being used to give you a personal digital assistant.
So at the end of the day, it was all a strategic trade-off. Sora's goal was to entertain you. This new super app's goal is to automate you. OpenAI looked at the board and realized the path to becoming a trillion-dollar company wasn't through making fun videos. It was through business software. Sora was burning cash, creating legal headaches, and not making any real money. So in the brutal calculus of Silicon Valley, Sora had to go.
All right, so what does the death of Sora mean for everybody else? Well, this isn't just an OpenAI story. It's a huge deal that sends shockwaves through the entire AI world and gives us a big clue about where all this tech is going next.
And we're already seeing the fallout. Competitors like Runway and Luma are jumping in to pick up all the professional creators that Sora left behind. And honestly, a lot of those pros were already getting frustrated with Sora anyway. Its generate and hope approach was cool, but it didn't have the detailed controls you need for real client work. And that whole Disney fiasco? It's a massive warning sign for any big company thinking about jumping into bed with an AI startup.
But really, the biggest takeaway from all of this is that we're seeing a major shift in AI. The age of AI spectacle, just being wowed by what it can create, that's kind of over. Now the age of AI utility has begun. It's less about the magic show and more about the tool that gets work done. OpenAI isn't in the business of entertaining you anymore. They're in the business of automating you.
Which brings us all the way back to the beginning. Was killing the world's #1 app a brilliant, cold-blooded move to save the company and focus on the real money? Or did they just make the single biggest mistake in the history of AI? That's the billion-dollar question, and honestly, we won't know the answer for a long, long time.